Okay, so back in September, the second council meeting in September, I gave a update to the citizens that we are currently undergoing a 10-year process, happens once every 10 years, in which our local Harford County council districts or councilmanic districts are redrawn up and approved. Now why does this take place? Well, it goes back a long time ago. When Article 1, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution was written, which requires a census to be taken to determine numbers of members of the House of Representatives. Back when the Constitution was written, it was like 25 representatives, but now, 1929, we passed a appropriation law that kept it at 435. So if you've been following national politics, the reason we do a census is to figure out where to spread these 435 members of the House of Representatives from every 10 years. A census is also employed, or it's applied to your state level of government for state senators and state delegates. It's also applied to, obviously, federal. It's also applied to county, though, too. So our county districts use census data on population shifts to examine every 10 years the need to possibly redraw what the voting districts look like. So in Havre Grace, we have districts A through F. And this map I'm pointing at right here is the current map that is presently used in Harford County. Havre Grace is District F. We have the purple right here. The purple is Havre Grace. I know it looks confusing, and that's probably the issue, the whole reason why we're speaking here tonight, is to explain why it looks so confusing. There's a term used in appropriation of legislative districts. It's called gerrymandering. It's named after Governor Elbridge Gerry 200 years ago, signed a ridiculous law that kind of made it where, politicians got to choose their voters rather than voters choosing their politicians. So whenever you see a map that doesn't make sense, we call it gerrymandered. The current map we have here is very gerrymandered. As you can see, Havre Grace is completely cut off from the rest of the purple. Now, according to state guidelines, when you do districts, there's a few things you need to look at. It needs to be contiguous, shouldn't be separated by any other district. It needs to be like communities that have common interests. And you're not supposed to put political parties factored into it, and you're not supposed to put incumbent residency factored into it. You're supposed to purely look at census data, communities, and keep them compact and concise. Now, we all know that's not implied everywhere across the United States of America, but here in Harford County, we like to think that that's what we do. So, obviously, District F, Havre Grace, is disconnected with this big area here. This big area here, F, don't be confused by the size. This is actually Aberdeen Proving Ground, most of it. But what we are concerned with is this area right here, which is Abingdon and Belcamp. So Havre Grace all the way over here is also connected to Abingdon and Belcamp all the way over here. You could literally get on 95 and drive 20 minutes, go through another district, just to go back into a different district. That was the city of Havre Grace's primary concern. Also, I know that Aberdeen has their concerns. Now, this is Aberdeen, but Aberdeen also shares so much of the farmland area here as well. That goes all the way up to the community college and farther up. I know people from Bel Air would like to tighten up their district as well. Bel Air is kind of chopped up. So this map has been in place for almost 20 years, since 2001. We waited many years for the opportunity to have this changed. And so this is the year it changes, or it's supposed to change. So what happens is back in the spring, the way it's supposed to work is the county council appoints a redistricting commission. And the redistricting commission, appointed by the county council president, is supposed to meet often, and they did. And they're supposed to get input from citizens, and they're supposed to make a recommendation to the county council. Now, who makes up the Redistricting Commission? Well, the Redistricting Commission is made up of 5 people. And these 5 people consist of 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans, and 1 independent, all appointed by the county council president. And again, their job is to not take politics, political parties into consideration, not to be concerned about incumbent residency, and keep like communities together, contiguous and compact. When the commission met and had their first meeting in the late spring, all 5 commission members agreed that F needed fixed. It doesn't take a rocket science to realize that F just needs to be more compact. So the city of Havre de Grace became very involved because we feel we should be involved, because we feel that our representations is very jigsawed on this councilmanic map. And we actually became very close with the city of Aberdeen, who actually had similar concerns as well with how their district looked. But here's the catch. Any district that you create has to have a minimum threshold of around 40 to 45,000 people, and really not any more than that. So when you're making these districts, you really you have to hit 40,000 people, and you don't really want to go anywhere north of 40 to 46,000 people. That creates a district. So again, this is the current map. We have solicited the Redistricting Commission that met many times over the summer. And when they finally did get the census data at the end of August, because it was delayed because of COVID, they were able to really hold a lot of work sessions publicly at the county council building and take a lot of public input. The input that was given to them from the city of Aberdeen and the city of Havre de Grace proposed pretty much the map you see here. Now there's one key thing we proposed. We proposed to put Aberdeen and Havre de Grace together in the same district. Now I know this sounded, at first, we mentioned this back in September. At first it kind of sounds, well, why would you put 2 cities in the same district when you want them separate? Well, here's the issue. To keep these cities separate, Havre de Grace is just south of 15,000 people. We need to find 25,000 more people. Aberdeen's around 18 to 20. They need to find another 22,000 people. Well, you run into the same problem. You have Aberdeen, but you need to grab more. You have Havre de Grace, but you need to grab more. If we kept Havre de Grace different or separate and we wanted to keep Aberdeen away from us, we'd have to get all this land up here. So basically people living in Havre de Grace would share areas of North Harford County where you could see the Amish on the roads on Sunday. So I mean, I wouldn't call that like communities. We're more of an urban area. So the mayor of Havre de Grace and I, along with our councils, agreed that if you put Aberdeen and Havre de Grace together, you can make a tight, compact district of like-minded communities. We are a heavier populated area of the county, and Mayor McGrady and I have been around long enough to realize that, we have a lot of similarities and we have differences, but we also realize that the differences between Havre de Grace and Aberdeen are not that competitive. And we proposed this map right here, something very similar to it, and this is actually the map that the Redistricting Commission, appointed by the County Council President, recommended. This is the official recommendation of the Redistricting Commission. And in it, as you can see, they put Havre de Grace and Aberdeen together. Remember, this is APG, maybe 300, 400 people, a lot of land though. But Aberdeen and Havre de Grace is together, as we requested, making a tight, compact community. That makes sense, in the southeast corner of Harford County. We also cleaned up Bel Air, and Bel Air was very supportive of this map as well. And Bel Air was supportive. I need to go on record by telling you, not only was Havre de Grace and Aberdeen supportive of it, but Bel Air supported it too, because it cleaned them up and they supported our map as well. It also cleaned up Aberdeen and Belcamp and made it more tight, more compact. The communities make sense. In fact, this was so supported that our council and Aberdeen's council voted unanimously back in September to support this map. So you have 2 mayors, you have 2 legislative bodies support it, you have the town of Bel Air support this, and you had the Redistricting Commission support this. This map was rendered to the county council on October 1st, which was the due date. The county council has the authority to adopt any map they would choose to adopt. Remember, this is just a recommendation. The County Council on November 2nd introduced this map, completely ignoring the Redistricting Commission recommendation. As you can see here, not much has changed, except where they fixed this right here and they made it a little purple. So they call this contiguous. Although Havre de Grace is still part of Amity and Belcamp. So the battle cry of fix District F was completely ignored. And in some ways, it's even worse. So this is where we're at. So back in September, I promised the citizens when I showed these two maps that I would give you guys an update. And here's the update. The update is, this is the working map that was introduced by the County Council, sponsored by 6 out of 7 council members. And if no action is taken, or nobody changes it, this will be the map that they vote on December 7th and adopt. So, the issue we have with this is, again, it just doesn't fix Aberdeen's concerns, doesn't address our district concerns. And also want to remind people that these districts are also your Board of Ed districts too. Why does that matter? Well, I'll tell you why it matters. Because right now, City of Havre de Grace has a District F representative that I haven't even seen or heard from since she ran for office. Council President Glenn, does our District F representative reply to you when you email her?
I've sent numerous emails to try and get clarification from our parents to address their concerns, and I got no response at all.
So maybe that could just be the person, but it could be someone who lives in Amity, not being responsive to the person who lives in Havre de Grace. These are one of the reasons we wanted our districts to be tighter, so that the people who represent us are more accountable to the places that they represent. I could go on, but I'll keep it short. I want everybody to understand something. This map protects the current incumbents. This map also protects the dominant political party in the county. This map would have made everything more competitive, made it more of an equal playing ground, which it should be. This map did not take into account incumbents' residencies. This map did not take into account political party. This map protects all of it. And it continues to marginalize the populations of Route 40. It continues to marginalize the populations of Route 40. I asked County Council President Vincenti to introduce this map. I said several times, I pleaded with him, I believe your job is to introduce this map. You appointed this commission. If your fellow colleagues are going to change it, then let them do it publicly in a public forum, amend it publicly, and give reasons why. This should have been a map introduced. This was the process. This is the democratic process we waited 10 years to achieve, and we did everything we were supposed to do. We had over 500 citizen signatures. You had 3 mayors support this, 2 legislative bodies, and a redistricting commission that was appointed by the county council president, and it's completely ignored. And I pleaded with him to introduce this as a correct document, and this is what we got. One that protects them all. One where they're choosing their voters, and the voters don't choose them. How can we fix this? Well, it's out of our hands at this point. If anything I said matters to you sitting at home watching this, you need to email County Council President Pat Vincenti and ask him to introduce the right map, the map that the Redistricting Commission recommended. Patrick Vincenti, Council President, Keith Vincenti at HarfordCountyCouncil.com. Up on the board there. Just want to give everybody an update, and I'll be back one more time after December 7th to let you know which one was voted on. Thank you very much for your time.